All right, everyone, welcome back. Again, Patrick Albrecht, project manager with Gilbane, building the School of Data Science project. So one of the coolest features, and actually the coolest piece of equipment we have out here right now, this is our crawler crane that has been out here. We erected it at the beginning, built the crane at the beginning of June, and it's been out here for the last 3 months, flying every piece of steel you see on the job. So if you look behind me, we've got our structure complete. So we have 4 floors of primary structure. We have our penthouse roof, which will house some mechanical equipment. And we won't be able to make our way all the way up there today, but we will next time. So all your heating and cooling main hydronic lines are coming through this excavation. We're going to tie those in today with the rest of the Ivy Corridor infrastructure project. Hopefully be able to start heating and cooling this job here in the next 6 months or 8 months. So a little different this time around. Right here to our right is that west entry vestibule. That's where you'll come in the front doors coming from the west facade. As you look around this first floor, you'll see a bunch of PVC conduit. That is where all your electrical power pathways are run from your main electrical room to whatever downstream device, whether it be a receptacle or a floor box or light switch. That's where all of those will hit in the walls. We have a depressed slab where I'm standing right here that will have radiant heat tubing running through it, provide some heat coming up from the floor. And then on both the north and south ends of the atrium openings, it's just a thickened slab on grade assembly that'll flush out or be level with the radiant heat flooring slab when it's placed. To my right over here is the hub area. Again, you'll have your 2-story screen wall right there, but it's starting to take shape. You can see the opening that'll go up to that two-story screen you'll be able to see from the second floor. Again, as we look up, this opening right here will never be framed in. It'll have a glass skylight, so you'll always be able to see straight up from this floor level. There will be a set of stairs going from 3 to 4 in this area, but you'll always be able to see all the way up. It's a pretty unique feature and something very cool for us to build. We're closer to it this time, but there's your elevator pit. And again, that steel casing is what houses the hydraulic jack that allows that elevator to go from levels 4 down to 1, up and down. So we're making our way over to the east stair. We're holding off on placing the concrete pans in this because that is the final finish. So we've infilled them with some plywood and 2x4s to make it safe to be able to go up and down and not have to utilize extension ladders at all times. All right, so this is just a standard stair. The monumental stair in those atrium openings, that's going to be something special when it's done. It's got a perforated rail. It's got precast terrazzo treads. It's going to be a very nice stair when it's done. So directly looking west right here is your first large classroom on your second floor. If you can tell from the camera, maybe it's perceptible, we had to hold down this slab 1 3/4 or actually 2 inches because there will be a raised access flooring system that will allow for electrical pathways, data pathways, to make this kind of a more usable space if you need to change the layout of tables and chairs and whatnot. Last week we placed this second floor slab. This week we'll place 3, and then we'll head down to the slab on grade for our next concrete pour. It's not a lot interesting in this area, electrical rooms, storage rooms, but this is your main atrium. Head that way to the doors to your large classrooms, then offices, conference rooms, seminar rooms, looking north. You'll have your kitchenette over here on the west elevation, right by this west stair. Your bathrooms in the corner over in the southwest corner. Just in case you're interested, as we've kind of panned around, these cables that you see that are wrapped around the columns on level 2 and down to level 1, those are our plumb cables to make sure that the building stands up straight, level, plumb, true. We have to install those until the concrete is placed to lock in the deck and the structure with each other. And at that point, those cables can be removed and we will patch the small holes in the concrete floor. If you look up again, I mentioned earlier with the tight constraints with the ceiling space, we've had to install penetrations in the beam to get duct work and electrical conduit and mechanical piping and sprinkler piping through. They've all been vetted via the structural engineer, calculated. So in some areas we are having to reinforce those, and others a hole through the beam is acceptable without reinforcing, but to save some ceiling space and not bring everything below the beams and above the ceiling, we're going through the beams in some places. And then just one final remark on the steel, because it's such a major aspect on this project. A lot of these columns that you see that are painted gray, that is a primer to receive an intumescent fireproofing, and then we'll get painted a metallic gray color, or a color matched to a metallic gray. So these will be exposed for the life of the project. They will not be covered with drywall or wrapped in any sort of panel system. That is your finished product once it's coated in fireproofing and painted. So we're paying special attention to those to make sure that they, all the dings and dents and anything that would have come from the erection process is worked out prior to that final finish application. And with that, we're going to demob this crane here probably at the end of the week. We're happy to be out of the steel game and ready to start closing in the envelope. So look forward to talking with y'all next time.